findings there on that particular report. And I'm now joined by Sharon Etemesi, who is a director at the Kenya National Debate Council. Many thanks for joining us this afternoon. Perhaps as we start off the conversation, of course, you're not heavily in the insurance sector, but what do you think is some of the reasons that keep young people from starting to save for retirement?
Generally, I would say it's lack of interest caused by lack of information, because it still boils down to what you're going to be discussing today, insurance, which just means financial security. So the youth right now have not really been made to understand the importance of being financially secure even before you get to a certain age. There is the belief and the habit of spending for what is needed right now as opposed to saving for the future, which is the reason why we will be talking about the importance of insurance.
And looking at insurance companies right now, many of them have tried to come up with new products that target the youthful generation, which is the underinsured out of the working class. Perhaps, do you think we are making strides as a country when it comes to rolling out of new products?
If I speak for Kenya as a country, we're actually the best country with the best administration right now across the sub-Saharan with a 3% rate. That means that we are leading, though not there yet, because as proposed by ACI and Swiss Re, we should be at around 6% by 2020. But then if you look at the products that are even out there by the insurance companies, they work for the last half of the youth demographic. There are very few products that work for, say, the first half of the youth. And that is the reason why people do not get the importance of being involved in coverage from a young age, going all through to the last stages of the youth. So I would say the products are there. We are working towards improving them.
I want to rope in Steve Biko, who is also joining this conversation by way of phone. And Steve, perhaps, what are your thoughts on the national conversation on insurance in the country?
First, let me thank you for the invite. To some extent, I'll agree with Sharon, but what I must say is that the Kenyan insurance companies are very boring in the way they draft, design, and implement their programs, products, and services. I mean, to the young person, to the youth, insurance is as boring as agriculture. And that is why you see that penetration has remained low, despite the fact that as life becomes more riskier, as the world becomes a global village, insurance products are actually needed. I'd like to challenge the Kenyan companies to look at what Zimbabwe has done, especially with Strive Masiyiwa, and what he's been able to achieve in terms of being innovative in terms of insurance products.
And taking it back to Sharon, so what is the way forward in order to boost awareness? I know there's a big debate coming up. Perhaps walk us through this and the significance and the intended outcomes.
So the tournament that will happen tomorrow and on Saturday at the Catholic University of East Africa is targeted to ultimately increase the penetration of insurance. And the one major reason or challenge that the Association of Kenyan Insurance found out in their studies is that there is a very big disconnect in terms of knowledge between what is out there in the insurance industry and what people actually know. So the reason why we're having this tournament is to, first of all, make people know what products are there and what products can work for them, because it is only then that we can create interest. The reason why people do not take any cover is because they do not even know the cover that are there. Despite the vigorous marketing that is going on, it does not reach the intended demographic, which are the youth. And that is why platforms such as Debate that involve youth directly, they will tell us the challenges that have been going through. The insurers will also be able to tell them the products that are available and see how to connect the two parties. That is the only way we can create interest. And this is the one activity that we are going to put in place. There are other activities that have been planned as the strategic plan by Swiss Re and ACI, but then they will only come post this debate as a short-term activity. They have a whole plan for the long-term and the medium activity they want to plan, but creating awareness through debate as one way is the way we are going to create information and awareness, because we'll have booths. The insurers on that day will have booths, and they will be disseminating information, telling people about their companies and the things that they do, and then we can see now from the products that exist, do we think, or do the youth think those products work for them through the many debate rounds that we will have. Yes.
Of course, a step in the right direction, Sharon. And from where you sit, Biko, really, insurance, as you've said, is sort of boring to the young people, and a damning report has been released today by M-Wealth, which also shows that out of 7 Kenyans, only 1 saves for retirement. Perhaps, is it a question of the affordability, that many people do not have funds, perhaps, to invest in various platforms, or is it a question of innovation?
It's not about a question. It's not a question about affordability, because insurance is a key component of what each and every one of us requires. The problem is lack of creativity, lack of innovation in the products that the insurance companies have. And I must commend what Sharon and her group are doing in terms of enlightening the public. However, this is a bigger challenge that the Association of Kenyan Insurance need to take upon themselves and do what we call civic education across the country. Social media has made it very easy to be able to dispense with information. And I think we need to take this very serious, because I've seen the report, and it's very damning on the way forward as a country, and especially when it comes to the aspect of saving. Because, I mean, when you look at our national pension scheme, it's actually about to explode, because at the end of the day, it's ballooned. I mean, we're looking at teachers who've never been paid since 2000 being paid now. And for the young people, most of us don't even know what saving for retirement is, leave alone what medical or travel insurance is. You know, we had a colleague who traveled abroad, they got sick and had to fundraise. But if they had insurance and they understood the importance of it, it would have been okay. So you see, lack of awareness is actually the biggest problem. And the fact that insurance companies are not willing to work together to create what you call public confidence in their services and products is a big challenge.
All right. And thanks, Steve. And as we wrap up the conversation, Sharon, what way forward for Kenya right now? We are in sort of a crossroads of sorts, because we are trying to push penetration from 3% to, say, 15%. But opportunities abound, especially for insurance companies. We've seen a host of insurance companies from South Africa coming into Kenya, and they're still scratching the surface. Is it time that we have more radical laws that force people to save, force people to take up insurance? What is the way forward?
You see, doing same things in the same way, as people always say, and expecting something different is impossible. And that is why AKI, in association with the Swiss Re, took time to conduct studies and identify these challenges. And lack of awareness is just one of them. As I mentioned, there are products that are mismatched, such that people who would want to be part of insurance cover feel like there are no products that are suitable for them. And apart from that, at what age do we as Kenyans start to have conversations about insurance? Truth is, way later in life, around 20, when people are looking for employment, when people are trying to be young adults, that is when people will take up discussions about insurance. But then if we think that insurance in terms of financial security is important for every human being, young or old, then this should be part of, as Steve says, education from even primary levels, basic information. Let people know the importance of having financial security, because right now we live in a very risky era. Hand to mouth. And apart from that, we also have climatic, changes that are causing a lot of damages, earthquakes and all those things that can cause emergencies. So if people don't understand how important it is to be covered from such risks from as early as even secondary school, then they will not see the need of being part of that cover later on in life. That is why.
And do you feel people are not taking up these products because they are getting different stories from even their parents who are still perhaps chasing for pension. They're saying, I've been going to the insurance company, their repayment is very bogus, if I may use that word. Is it a factor that insurance companies should also fast-track payment of if you make a claim, or when you hit retirement, how fast can you get your check? Because that also plays a part in the perception people have.
I will not say that the insurance industry has been wholly or pure all through its track record. There are challenges in that industry, just like any other industry that has its own challenges. But if we decide to measure on the problems that are in the industry, then we move away from achieving the goal of insuring ourselves. Now, following pensions is just one bit of insurance. What about the child you will have today and tomorrow you're not there? How will that child survive? So if we feel our pension is one aspect of insurance that is problematic, does that mean that we have addressed or we have subscribed to other parts of insurance that we should have, which is a no? That is why we go back to what is the solution. The solution is emancipate the youth. Let the youth from now, and the young adults that we're targeting are the university students, because they are the parents of tomorrow, and they're the young adults of tomorrow. So we want these parents to understand, even before they talk about pension, the necessity of having a health cover, the necessity of having your property insured now, so that once they see that working, once they see the benefits of being covered against risks now, then they can subscribe to, let me work for a pension when I retire. Yes.
Interesting conversation. Thanks a lot, Sharon.
Thank you very much.
Well, we've been speaking there to Sharon Etemesi, a director at the Kenya National Debaters Council, talking to us on matters to do with the insurance and, of course, why it's important for you to take part in the upcoming debate that will be held as from tomorrow. Well, let's shift gears now, and consumers are set to have more choice when it comes to furniture after Kenya gained a new entrant into the market. Doctors Exclusive has now entered the East African market in a partnership with HomeMart Limited. Besides their presence in Asia and Europe, Doctors Exclusive is looking to grow their market in East Africa and beyond, with Kenya as the first port of call. This will see the company grow to 10 more countries within the continent. Partners HomeSmart say that they will open another furniture store in the country within a year, thereby aiming to entice the Kenyan consumers with affordable furniture.
9,000 square feet store, which is welcoming all European products into Kenyan market at the moment. This is our 51st store in East around the world, and 5th store in Africa.
And we are glad that the Turks have found time to come here. This is not the only outlet they are starting. Abdul tells me that in the month they will be opening another outlet on Mombasa Road. This goes to create employment, and we are encouraging that they start manufacturing here for the region.
Well, we indeed look forward to more investors setting up shop in the country, definitely to provide employment and tax for the taxmen. Well, as we take a quick break, let me recap our Twitter poll question this afternoon. We're asking you, what is the right age to start saving for retirement? What are your thoughts? Is it the age of 20 to 30, after 30, or 5 years to retirement, or you do not know? Send us in your feedback and we'll be able to sample them before we wrap up the show later on after this quick commercial break.